Hey guys, it's Mannequin here, and welcome to episode 3 of the Moab Gun Show, and I'm bringing you a domination game on the map mission, and I'm using the Spaz 12 with extended mags and the damage proficiency. My class setup is still the same, and I want to say two things really quickly before I talk about the gun. And the first thing is that I'm sorry about how episode 2 came out at the end. The commentary and the gameplay didn't sync up for some reason towards the end. I think it's because I fast forwarded most of the gameplay. It messed up somehow. I don't know what was going on. I tried fixing it didn't work, and I was actually gonna do some of the fast forwards in this game, but then I was like, you know what, I don't want to chance it. I don't want it to mess up the commentary. So yeah, I'm sorry about how episode 2 came out. And the second thing that I want to say before I talk about the gun is that the reason I wanted to fast forward most of this game is because for most of the game I'm doing horrible. I was just getting owned. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I was getting demolished. I was getting really unlucky, it seems, because I was getting grenaded. I was getting noob tubed. I was getting really unlucky. But then there were times I was getting outplayed by other people with strikers. I mean, right here, I think I died right there by a striker. And it was really frustrating me because I stayed in this lobby for like 4 or 5 games. And the previous game before this, we played on Arcaden. And I was 1 kill away from a Moab with the Spaz because I was recording for the show. Oh, check this shot out. Look at that range. But yeah, I was recording for the show and I was 1 kill away. And I shot the guy twice and he didn't die. He shrugged off my bullets and just knifed me. I was like, oh, are you kidding me? How do you do that when I'm shooting you twice with the shotgun? But I was like, okay, whatever. And in the pre-game lobby, I saw that it was going to be missions. So I was like, okay, I'm probably going to Moab in this game. And then when I'm thinking to myself, all of a sudden the other team in the pregame lobby, they were like, hey, why were you using a shotgun? Use a real gun. I'm like, oh, the shotgun is a real gun. What are you talking about? And when I said that, they got mad. They were like, we're going to put on our shotguns. And I got noob tubed right there. That was kind of weird. But yeah, they were like, we're going to put on our shotguns now and stuff like that. And I just stared at that guy. But yeah, so they put on their shotguns. I was like, okay, put them on. I don't care. I'm not going to tell you not to use them. And so in the game, when I get in there, I'm like, I wonder what shotguns they're going to use. And then when I died the first time, I was like, oh my god, they're using strikers. And I think there were like 3 different people using strikers, and I was just getting owned by them. Even though this gameplay was recorded after the patch came out to buff up all the other shotguns except the striker, which the striker got nerfed. The striker is still a really good gun, and I noticed that in this game, and I get noob tubed again. What the hell? So yeah, the striker was just owning me in this game. I was like, come on, Spaz, do me a favor and own. But it just wasn't doing it. I don't know. I was at a huge disadvantage using the Spaz, a pump action shotgun, compared to everyone else using a striker. And right here, how did I miss those 3 shots? I know a shotgun, the pellets spread out, so I expect one of the 3 shots to at least get a hit marker. I mean, not to kill, but at least get a hit marker. I just completely missed the guy. And right there, I don't even think I got the my aim down sight got it on target with that one guy, so I ended up killing him. But the other guy had 2 shots on target, I thought. But oh well. The proficiency I would recommend on the Spaz would be the damage, mostly because you saw how the range is without the range proficiency. It's really good. That's one thing that I really like about the Spaz. It's the range. But it lacks in damage. That's one thing that really disappointed me about the Spaz, because to be honest, when I was recording and I found out that the patch came out for the shotguns, and this was the first gameplay that I got with a shotgun buff, I was really hoping that the Spaz would perform like the Modern Warfare 2 Spaz, the overpowered secondary that everyone was like, oh, why are you using a shotgun? Use your actual primary. I was really hoping for that Spaz. But then it was a huge disappointment. I would rather use the KSG, to be honest, because with the damage proficiency, it would still most likely be a 2-shot kill. I mean, yeah, you would get those 1-shot kills, but they weren't consistent. The KSG was a lot better. It was a lot more consistent, because I tried out the KSG today with the damage proficiency after they buffed it up, and I love that shotgun. Compared to the Spaz, it's miles ahead of the Spaz, which is kind of weird because the KSG is the second shotgun you get. Being the first shotgun that you get necessarily doesn't mean that it's the worst one, but I expected the Spaz to be a little bit better than the KSG. I mean, I guess it is better in the sense of range, because it's amazing how far it can shoot, but damage, the KSG is a lot better than this. So my review of the Spaz is going to be 3.5 out of 5. That shotgun, I don't know, I guess I just had too too high expectations for this gun, even though it looks pretty awesome in gold. I gotta say that it does look pretty cool in gold, but I expected so much more from this shotgun. It felt weird in my hands, and the pump just seemed way too slow. I thought the KSG was a lot faster than this, and having a slow pump action, especially if it doesn't kill consistently at one shot, it's a huge disadvantage, because if you're going against someone with like a striker or a machine gun, then most likely you're gonna die if you're not killing them in that one shot or two shot radius, because if it takes 2 to 3 shots, that's a disadvantage already. And right here I'm just trying to shoot that guy into the smoke, which it pretty much leads me to get killed, I think, because I had no idea where he went when he exited the smoke. I was pretty much looking down. I was like, hey, where did he go? Boom, dead. I had no idea where he is. I probably should have watched the kill cam so I can know where he went, because I still don't know where the guy went. And before talking about the gameplay any further, I actually had a weird morning happen to me. I finally fixed my sleeping schedule, which is pretty awesome, but when I was laying in bed, all of a sudden my dad walks into my room. He's like, hey, get ready, we're going somewhere. And I was still pretty sleepy. I was tired, so I wasn't thinking straight. If I would have known that today was Friday, I wouldn't have done anything. I was like, you're going to work, what are you talking about? But he was like, we're going somewhere important, take a shower and get ready. So I was like, okay. So I went into the shower. I'm still tired, and my shower is like a shower bath kind of thing, I guess. And there's 3 knobs. There's the hot, and then there's the one with the arrows. Like if the arrows are down, the water's gonna come from the bathtub, and then if the arrow is up, it's gonna come from the shower head. And then the last one, it's the cold water. So the arrow was down, and I was like, okay, good, because I'm gonna move the hot water and I'm gonna wait till it gets hotter. And so I moved the hot water, and the water's not coming out from the bottom. I'm like, hey, why is it taking so long? Then all of a sudden, all the cold water just comes down on me from the shower head. I'm like, oh God, that's cold. And when I said that, all I hear from outside my bathroom door is my dad laughing. I'm like, oh my God, did he set this up? So I finished showering, then I got out, and I was dressed up. I was looking nice. I was like, all right, where are we going? He's like, we're not going anywhere. I'm going to work. I'm like, what? He was like, yeah, I just told you all that so you could take a shower since I switched the knobs. I was like, why would you do that? He was like, oh, I thought that would be funny. I was like, seriously? He was like, yeah, I just did that so I could have some fun. I was like, wow, you're mean. So I went back to my room. I started playing Call of Duty, and I got my first back-to-back Moab, which is like Moab one game, and then the next game I Moabbed again, which that's the first time I've ever done it. I'm still on that streak. Maybe if I play again after this commentary, I'll get another one. I don't know. But yeah. So I did it back to back, and then all of a sudden I was just talking with a friend, then my doorbell rang, and I went to go get the doorbell, and it was my neighbor's 7-year-old son, and he was like, hey, do you want to play catch? I was like, no, I don't want to play catch. It was drizzling. I was like, no, I don't want to play catch. We're probably gonna get sick if we try that. And he was like, no, please play catch. I'm bored at my home. I'm like, no, get your sister, because he has a sister. Get your sister to play with you. She's like, no, she's asleep. I'm like, well, I'm not gonna play catch right now. Sorry. He's like, oh, you're no fun. So then he goes home, and then I tell my friend when I get back, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna start doing my commentary, so I'll talk to you later. So I start doing my commentary, and I'm on take 1. And while I'm doing my commentary, all of a sudden my doorbell rings. So I go answer my door. I'm like, okay, who can it be? And then it's the little kid again. He's like, hey, let's play catch. I'm like, no, we're not going to play catch. It's raining. You're going to get wet. I'm going to get wet. I have a bad immune system, so I'll probably get sick. And he was like, oh, quit being such a girl. I was like, what? And so I'm like, no, I'm not going to play. Go home and we'll play later. He's like, oh, whatever. So then I come back and I start doing the commentary again. Then all of a sudden, doorbell. I'm like, okay, I'll play catch. And so we play catch. And it only lasted 2 minutes, because after 2 minutes, after it was drizzling just a little bit, but it was drizzling, he was like, oh, I'm going inside. I'm like, what? We've only been playing for 2 minutes. And he's like, yeah, but I'm getting wet and I don't want to get sick. I was like, seriously? I was telling you this like 2 different times, and now you're telling me this, that you don't want to get sick and you don't want to get wet? He's like, yeah. And he just like walks inside. I was like, oh my God. And so I came back, I was starting to do the commentary again, then all of a sudden the doorbell rings. I'm like, oh my God, if it's this kid, I'm gonna yell. And as soon as I opened the door, I was like, what? And it turned out to be a UPS driver. I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were gonna be someone else. He was like, oh, it's okay. Apparently, he told me that apparently UPS drivers, they get yelled at a lot. I don't know why. It kind of sounds bad. I mean, I wouldn't want to be yelled at on my job. But I told him I'm sorry, and then he was like, here's your package. I was like, thank you. And then he told me, I'm surprised you didn't yell thank you back at me. I was like, oh, damn. And I get the Moab here. It was a pretty interesting streak. I'm sorry that I couldn't really talk about it since I was in the middle of the story, but then I get noob tubed. Look at that. After I get the Moab, I get noob tubed. So I started off pretty bad, and then my Moab streak was pretty entertaining. I was watching some of it when I was running away from the Dead Man's Hand. I think that was my favorite moment of that streak, because Dead Man's Hand kills me so many times. But we were still losing when I got the Moab, so I told my friend, because he was sniping in this game, I was like, hey, can we switch classes? Like, can you switch classes? Maybe go a little bit with an assault rifle, because I don't want to lose. I don't want to upload a losing Moab, because I haven't uploaded a losing Moab since that ACR episode. So I was like, no, I don't want to upload that, because it does happen quite often. I do lose quite a few times when I get Moabs, which is weird because I'm dominating the other team with like 24 kill streaks and I'm still capturing stuff, but I still end up losing, because even in this game I was capturing a lot of stuff. I do get a lot of kills, but we were still so close to losing. It catches me off guard. So the game's already going to come to an end. There will be an annotation on the top left to take you to episode 2, and there will be an annotation on the top right that will take you to episode 4 that is out on Monday. So yeah guys, this is Mannequin. Peace.